In this video, you're going to see why this shrimp lure is by far the most popular across our 60,000 member strong fishing club. This lure called the Prawn is the most versatile lure I've ever fished with, catching all the core inshore species plus triple tail, tarpon, permit, even sheep's head will hit this lure. But this also works out in deeper water amazingly well. Giant redfish, snook, keeper cobia, and even out in the really deep water where I caught the biggest mangrove snapper I've ever seen in my life, and that was just after I caught the biggest red grouper that I've ever caught. This lure flat out catches fish. The reason this lure works so great is because it looks natural in the water, just like a real shrimp swimming through structure. Most importantly though, it can be rigged weedless in all water depths, anywhere from 10 inches all the way to over 200 feet of water. Here's this lure doing the same thing for deeper water. It can bounce along the bottom, it can push through weeds, it can push through some rocks that you'll see in a second. Most lures can't do this, and that is why this lure is just so much better. It gets results even when fish aren't hungry. One of the best ways to catch the biggest, smartest fish with lures is to have it pop out of structure just like their natural prey does. One of my favorite ways to fish this is skipping it up underneath docks. There's so many fish live under there. This lure skips great. Most importantly, it can be rigged weedless, so you can bounce off the pilings without getting snagged, but you catch the fish. There's a really nice snook that I caught with my brother Joe, and right after that he caught another overslot one. Another popular way to fish this lure is up on shallow flats. Here's a quick demonstration showing how easy it is to use this lure over a shallow grass flat. Literally just cast it out, I let it sink, and then I'm just doing a single twitch, just basically pushing it out of the grass and then let it go back down in the grass, back out of the grass, and you literally just keep doing that and wait for thumps, and once you feel that thump, let them have it. The rigging options that I'm going to share at the end, they're specifically made for this lure. This is the Helix Hook, again, specifically designed for covering the shallow waters with this lure. Again, redfish, all these fish just absolutely love it. It is very weedless while still having a very good hookup ratio. Here's an example of this same lure being used in deeper water. This is now 50 feet of water, same exact retrieve. Single twitch up, let it fall back down, single twitch up, wait till feel the thump, and then let them have it. This is a really nice fish. This is a big snook I caught out on a nearshore reef. This lure works so great around deep structure that I don't even bother bringing live bait or even cut bait when I go nearshore and offshore. And even on that offshore trip where I caught the biggest mangrove snapper that I've ever seen, there were 26 people on the boat fishing hardcore, and I ended up bringing the most meat from snapper and grouper across the entire boat, and I was the only one using artificial only. But my favorite part about this trip is when I taught Bill here how to use the Prawn. I gave my rod, he had not yet caught a keeper red grouper, and within minutes of doing this single twitch retrieve, he caught his first red grouper of the trip, and shortly after that, he ended up catching the biggest red grouper of the entire boat. It was 29 inches. This thing was an absolute beast. Oh,
oh, the Prawn! Nice!
I simply don't know any other lure that can catch tanks out there in 170 feet of water while also catching big redfish and trout up in the shallows. Here's a close-up of exactly how these lures work. This is the shallow rig. This is where you can go in the shallow waters weedless with the Helix Hook. And this is what you use for the deeper water. This is the Weedless football jig. We have this in many sizes, up to 2 ounces, which is what I was using for the up to 200 feet of water. So you can completely customize your depth range. And on top of that, we have a smaller version as well called the Prawn Junior, so you can match the hatch. If the shrimp are small, go with the Junior. And if the shrimp are normal size, go with the original. So let me show you how this rigging works. As you'll see, it is super easy. I'm just gonna take this off real quick. To rig for the shallows is incredibly easy. With this Helix hook, you can just get the point of this twist right there in the middle of the bait and push in, and then just start twisting it on. This is the most efficient way to rig a soft plastic onto a weighted hook for shallow water. Twist it on till it gets up top while the underbelly is facing towards the hook. Then I like to flip it over. I like to just put the hook in the underbelly, and then with my other hand, pinch where it comes through naturally. And then once that's done, just twist it 90 degrees and have that hook point go straight down where my finger is. And this is a perfectly rigged shrimp ready for action. For the deeper water, you're going to want to use this Haas Weedless football jig. This thing is awesome, and as you'll see, it is easy to rig. Simply get the hook point, go through the head of the lure, and you want to go down on the underbelly side, and you push the hook point down about a little over 1/2 inch. Plus or minus, doesn't have to be perfect. pop it out the bottom, right? Get it straight center, at least as center as you can. And then we're gonna slide this lure over the shank. And when it gets this turn, it'll just naturally bend along with the shank. Get it over that turn. And you wanna basically push it all the way up to the head. A lot of people let the head wobble. Yes, that works, but it does best when it is actually all the way up, pinning the head. It skips better this way, and you can catch more fish per lure this way. The final step is to do just what we did before, is we put the hook in the underbelly, just slide it in. That way we can know exactly where it'll naturally go out without bending the lure. Pinch it with our other hand. Now just do the quick twist and take that hook straight down at the pinch zone, and there you are. Perfectly rigged prawn. This thing will be super weedless, ready to catch some fish. And if you're going through a lot of structure, regardless of which style you're using, it's called skin hooking, where you just put a little bit of material, push it forward, and then let that hook point embed itself in the material. This is what I use when I'm going through some really gnarly nearshore reefs or skipping up under mangroves, where I know there's a bunch of oysters and snags. There's literally nothing for this lure to snag onto. So even if it does bump up against something, just give it a bump, it'll come out. And then when you get that fish, right, that fish is gonna put some pressure down. That pressure is gonna expose the hook point. Now you're gonna be hooking the fish while not hooking the bottom. These exclusive prawn lures and rigging is only available at fishstrong.com, and the best way to save money is to get the bundle. This includes both the small one and the big one, so the junior and the original. And you have both the shallow water rigging and the deeper water rigging included, plus some battle rattles. These are rattles that you can put into the soft plastic very easily to help these lures get more attention when the water's churned up or when it's murky. Best of all, this bundle allows you to select the colors. So we have a lot of different colors, so you can click the drop down and choose from any color that you like for both the bigger one or the junior. And then same thing for rigging, right? We have different weights, especially for these Haas weedless footballs. We have different weights. Just use the drop down. You can select your weight. So all you have to do is make your selections and then click add to cart. And when you complete the order, we're going to send them to you right away. If for whatever reason you don't want the full bundle, you can get them a la carte as well. Just simply click or tap on whichever one you want, and then you'll be able to see the individual profile for these lures, again, all from that bundle page. And in case you ever have questions on rigging, just know that those details are always going to be in the very bottom of the profiles, where you can see some rigging options, and there's links to videos, plus retrieve lesson, although as you saw, the retrieve is super easy. And if you happen to be on the fence, here's one last thing. We actually guarantee these lures are going to work. Salt Strong makes these lures. They're the biggest fishing club in the world, at least in America, for saltwater anglers. And we put this to the test through ourselves, plus members. They're amazing reviews on these lures. We know they're going to love them. We're going to put all the risk on our shoulders. So if you get these lures and you somehow don't think they're the best shrimp lures you've ever used, just let us know and we'll refund the money. No questions asked. So click the link on this page or go to fishstrong.com. Claim your Prawn USA lures. We can't wait to see some great fish you catch with these awesome lures.